Harvey, my name's John Paris. Obviously, we've met more than once. I'm the chair of the Asian American Group's Endorsement Committee. On behalf of myself, Mike Vaswani, our president, and our executive vice president, Kevin Fung, we appreciate you taking time out of your Sunday to come join us for this interview process. Just to give you a little background on us, the Asian American Group has been serving as sort of a penumbra group for numerous Asian organizations throughout the Las Vegas Valley. We've been in existence for over 20 years, with Mike being our president for the vast majority of that time. For the last 8 years, we've been conducting panel-style interviews for primary and general elections, for everything from municipal races all the way up to the United States Senate races. Our goal is to try and give candidates an opportunity to inform the voting public in general of their positions on various issues that are important to the greater Las Vegas area. That's enough information about us, though. We're really here to learn, obviously, about you. For those watching at home or at a later date, this is Harvey Gruber. He is one of the candidates who is running for the vacant seat in Henderson Justice Court 1. The first question that we're asking of everyone is this. Harvey, why have you decided to run for this particular race at this particular time?
First, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and give you a little background about myself. I've been practicing in Henderson for 19 years. My office has been on Water Street for that whole time, which is to say I also work in Las Vegas, but most of my cases originate in Water Street. When the seat opened up by Judge Burr, Judge Hampton passing away and Judge Burr taking her spot, a lot of the people in the courthouse that I do business with, judges, officers, clerks, approached me and said, you should run, you need to run. We need good judges on the bench. I'm striving to take over for Judge Burr's spot and hopefully follow in his footsteps. I thought he was a great judge on that Henderson Justice Court bench. He's been there since I was an attorney. When I first got sworn in, Judge Burr was there. So after talking to these people, I spoke to my wife, and my career has been pretty long, 19 years now. I've been covering all the cases that would go before a Henderson Justice Court. I've done the civil work, I've done the criminal work, and this is half a civil job, it's half a criminal job. It's not just one thing, and therefore, based on my breadth of experience and what I believe is to be my demeanor and my knowledge, I decided to run for this seat.
Before we go any further, just so you know, obviously there's no incumbent on this in this race. I don't have any active cases with Mr. Bateman, one of the other individuals in this race. In fact, I think he's on FMLA since his wife just had a child. But just to avoid any appearance of impropriety, I'll moderate this, but I'm not going to really participate in the actual deliberation process regarding this for any of the individuals, for any of the judicial races, quite candid. I just wanted you to know that. You had mentioned Judge Burr, who was very well respected. He had very good ratings across the board on the RJ's biennial survey. Looks like there won't be a survey this year, at least that's the rumor. However, what ideas do you have to try and improve on, quote unquote, the RJ survey, whether it's the RJ or another group administering it, since those surveys tend to be the only real way that the general public has any window into how judges or the judiciary is performing their job duties?
So the question is, how would I improve on the survey process?
Correct.
Okay. You know, I don't know how many people actually look at those surveys, and I don't know how many people who vote actually take a look at the candidates who are running. I know I'm in the position a lot of times of helping my friends who are not attorneys and not in the system. They come to me and ask me, who should we vote for? The only way to get something out in an election style is to make sure everyone, all the citizens who vote, have access, which is an impossible task. I don't know that there is any one good answer other than to do meeting with different groups and having those groups go out into the community as this one does, as the veterans do, as the Latin Americans do, that would be the only way that you could get information out to the electorate who votes.
There are a lot of specialty court programs in the justice court system, with drug court, veterans court, things of that nature. Assuming that you are elected to this position, what specialty courts would you like to see either A, expanded, or B, what programs do you feel that you would champion in order to address a currently unaddressed need?
Henderson Justice Court does not have a specialty court as of right now. The Henderson Municipal Court has a drug court, the ABC program run by Judge Hedger, and a Veterans Court run by Judge Stevens. Las Vegas Justice Court, Las Vegas Municipal Court, and District Courts all have specialty courts. I've been saying this, and the only way for me to get a client right now from Henderson Justice Court into a specialty court program is to transfer jurisdictions, and that's not easy. I've done it. It's not easy to do. It is a lot of work on everyone involved, from the court, to the court staff, to the incoming court, the outgoing court, the prosecutor, and the defense attorney. I would like to see Henderson Justice Court open itself up to a drug court, a veterans court. I think there has to be something done with theft crimes, because most of my drug clients who commit theft crimes are doing it for the drugs. And so that needs to be addressed as well. I don't know, also, having said that, I know this is a 2-year term initially. And I don't know how quickly my goal of opening up a drug court and or a veterans court into the Henderson Justice Court will go, how fast that'll happen. But I believe it needs to happen. I think every court in Las Vegas Valley, I even think North Las Vegas has some specialty court, I'm not sure. But I know that Henderson doesn't, and Henderson is the second largest city in the state. That court runs a lot of people through it. I think that needs to be done as soon as possible.
And you had mentioned earlier that a lot of court staff and other individuals approached you and encouraged you to run. Based upon your knowledge of the inner workings of the way the court system works down in Henderson, what do you see as the biggest inefficiency down there? And assuming you're elected, what will you do to deal with that?
The biggest inefficiency down in Henderson Justice Court, unfortunately, is me. And this is why I say that. Unfortunately, the court has its calendar at 9 o'clock for status checks and 9:30 for preliminary hearings. It is impossible for attorneys from downtown who have cases downtown at 8:30 and 9 o'clock to be in Henderson at 9 or 9:30. Can't be in two places at once. I've tried, it doesn't work. A lot of times I've split between the two parts. I walk in at 10:30 and 10:45, 11 o'clock sometimes, they're only waiting on me. Now, obviously I can't make an attorney hire someone else, or I can't make other courts go faster, but what I can do is stagger the times better so that witnesses don't have to wait, so victims don't have to wait, so police officers don't have to wait. So if you do your status checks earlier and move the preliminary hearings a little bit later, that gives attorneys who come down some more time. They're not as rushed, they're not as pressured. I think any status check or arraignment that can be done without an attorney present, if the defendant is compliant, we don't need to wait for an attorney. We can just close the case out. Just move the cases a little bit quicker. If it's an arraignment, we don't have an attorney present, you just go forward. If we can move it just a little bit, I think there'll be a lot less waiting. I don't know how easy that is to do. I'm on the outside. I'm only seeing it from the outside. But I see a lot of waste going on, waiting for private attorneys to get to where they're going, and it's unfortunate because we're so spread out. God forbid we live in LA and work there and you'd only have one court in a day. There's no way you can make three.
Well, Harvey, because there's only one of you up there at a time, you've pretty much plowed through all of our questions. So the last question that we have is going to be this. Give us about 2 minutes on why you are the best candidate for Henderson Justice Court 1.
I moved to Henderson in 1996. I opened my office in 1997 with my partners. I believe I'm the best qualified for this position for a couple of reasons. One, my length of experience. Two, the breadth of my experience. As I stated earlier, I have done every single type of case that would come before the Henderson Justice Court. And this is important to note. The Henderson Justice Court is not just a criminal calendar, it is a civil calendar as well. It handles landlord-tenant and temporary protective orders, it handles tickets, it handles civil lawsuits, right now up to $10,000 and soon to be up to $15,000, and it handles a criminal matter, the criminal cases. So I believe based on the breadth and the length of my experience, I am the best suited for this job. I take great pride in that many of the judges and police officers in Henderson refer me their friends and family to represent them. That is a burden that I willingly take, and I accept it, and I think it's fantastic of them to think of me that way. Having said that, I think that these interviews are fantastic to have. I'm glad you guys have invited me to do this. I appreciate the opportunity. I note that there are certain organizations who have not opened up the process to everybody, especially in our race. I think it's important for these interviews to go and be fair, and I'm actually glad that this organization has opened it up to everybody. Back to what I was saying about me being the best qualified, I believe for the reasons I mentioned earlier. I also I've devoted some time in service to the State Bar of Nevada. I currently am the vice chair of the Client Security Fund of the State Bar of Nevada. That's a committee that strives to give money back to clients who have been defrauded by attorneys who have been disbarred or suspended. I also serve on the Southern Nevada Disciplinary Panel. I've been doing that for a while, and that's where attorneys sit in judgment of other attorneys for their for accusations of ethical violations by their clients. I serve on those committees proudly. I'm trying to clean up the system as best I can. On these panels, on the disciplinary panel, I am sometimes the chair of the panel. So, for lack of a better term, I'm the chief judge of that panel. That gives me my judicial experience, or some judicial experience, I should say. I've also been asked to mediate different cases for the State Bar. Them showing trust in me in that way as well. And for those reasons, I believe I'm best suited for this job.
Perfect. Well, obviously we already took a photo with you before we did this interview, but last thing is we would love to invite you next Saturday night. We are having our 13th annual Asian Awards Group, Asian American Group Awards Banquet at the TI from 5:30 till 9 o'clock. I'll email you the specifics probably sometime tomorrow afternoon. But we'll be honoring 13 different members of the greater Las Vegas community for their charitable works in the field of medical profession and other professions. People have just really given back to the community. Again, we've been doing this since 2002, 2003. But again, we'd love to see you there. So thank you again, Harvey.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.